CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday. 4 people, including 2 young children, are in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a multi-vehicle crash in Sault Ste. Marie. The intersection of Black Road and Second Line East was closed around 7 last night. Police say a van traveling at a high rate of speed on Black Road struck an SUV head-on. Another vehicle was hit as a result of the first collision, and 3 more vehicles ended up in snowbanks trying to avoid the crash. The driver of the SUV and their 2-year-old and infant passengers were taken to hospital, as well as the driver of the van, all with life-threatening injuries. All right, now to the weather and sloppy conditions out there. For more on the rain, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Tony, sloppy is really a great description of what we could expect not only this evening, overnight, and into tomorrow. Lots of rain. Big transition into snow you can see along that Highway 17 corridor. Lots of rain. More snow to the north, and we'll get into the amounts as well during the 5-day and 7-day forecast. First take on weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. You can see the snow more northerly and the rain in the south along that Highway 17 corridor as well. Flood warnings in effect for Sudbury, North Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, and areas along that 17 corridor as well. Lots of rain. We'll get into the numbers and a lot more coming up, Tony.
Thanks for that, Rick. CTV News has learned that at least 6 senior managers at the City of Greater Sudbury have been let go. In a statement, the city says they're undergoing a period of organizational change and staffing decisions are being made to support the city's renewed strategic direction. Adding this restructuring is intended to help accelerate the change, ensuring value for taxpayers. While the city said it could not discuss specific personnel matters, sources have confirmed Kevin Folk, General Manager of Corporate Services, Deputy Fire Chief Jesse Oshel, Melissa Roney, Deputy Chief of Paramedic Services, and David Shelstead, the Director of Engineering Services, were among the 6 let go. CTV is following this developing story, and for more details, visit our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. A First Nation community in remote Northern Ontario has declared a state of emergency after its aging infrastructure failed. Now leadership is planning to evacuate all residents out of the community. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
2026 isn't starting off well for Kashechewan First Nation. Several infrastructure issues have led the leadership to declare a state of emergency.
People are just tired of not having access to clean water and having the inability to have health care.
On Sunday, the water treatment system failed, causing sewage to back up into homes and contaminate the water supply. That also caused flooding at the community's nursing station. The infrastructure is more than 30 years old and in need of upgrades. It's something they've been trying to address with the federal government.
It's an ongoing issue with these deficiencies. The government keep putting band-aid solutions on this water plant. Like I said, we want permanent solutions.
About 100 vulnerable residents have already been evacuated from the First Nation and flown to Timmins and Kapuskasing. But due to the urgent public safety concerns, leadership has requested a full evacuation of all 2,200 residents.
We don't have any potable drinking water. We're having issues bringing in water to the community because of weather conditions and where our planes are flying from. So we have a whole list of issues, and it kind of necessitated the need for our community to evacuate.
And keep encouraging our people to be strong out there. Be safe when they're evacuated.
Indigenous Services Canada says it's working closely with the community. It distributed some bottled water and sent specialized technicians to help repair the equipment. A spokesperson for Indigenous Services Canada says this is an evolving situation and we will continue to respond to all critical needs to support community members and leadership through this evacuation and to get people back home as soon as possible. It's unknown when the community will have a working water system again, and more evacuation flights are being planned in the coming days. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
A big day in Toronto today as one of Ontario Northland's new passenger rail trains was unveiled. The service was canceled nearly 14 years ago, but as CTV's Eric Tashner tells us, the Ford government says it's a step closer to fulfilling a promise it made to Northerners.
Folks, look at that beautiful train.
The first of 3 train sets on the tracks, ready to move ahead.
The Northlander is more than a train. It's a lifeline to jobs, education, family and friends, and so much more.
The train will undergo testing in Toronto before moving north to ensure all systems function and meet safety and performance standards before launching sometime this year.
Additional amenities, additional leg and foot room.
The Northlander will make the 740-kilometer journey between Toronto and Timmins with a rail connection to Cochrane and stops along the way.
My youngest is currently a student at York University, and the difference is that when he comes home to the north now using the bus, when he gets to North Bay, his travel ends there, and we have to go from Kirkland Lake, our hometown, to North Bay to get him.
The Northlander was parked in 2012 by the previous Liberal government due to high operating costs and stagnant ridership. To ensure this doesn't happen again, Ontario Northland is trying to get the schedule right.
And I think that that's going to really draw people to be able to use it.
And has a pricing strategy for review before the Ministry of Transportation.
We have the benefit of operating transportation services by bus and by passenger rail in the north for decades. We also collaborate with our industry partners, just like Via Rail, where we are today, to understand what the current market is.
Before passenger rail service resumes, there have been a series of provincial infrastructure investments to reconstruct train platforms, install new shelters, and make upgrades to the warning system.
You know, it's time to start thinking ahead and thinking how we can service all the communities, both east and west.
And while there is great excitement for the Northlanders' return,
It connects our province from north to south and creates economic opportunity.
there is still a lot of work to do before it's all aboard. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. Right now, let's head to downtown Timmins. This live webcam is courtesy of that city. It's 2 degrees. We're back in just a few minutes.
Fuel your Fridays with CTV and Pure Country. Enter online for a chance to win a $100 gas gift card. Fuel your Fridays. Powered by CAA. Life isn't one size fits all. Neither is CAA. Messy, messy, messy. That's our forecast for this evening. Overnight, heading into tomorrow, the transition between rain, lots of it, and snow. Forecast radar. This is the system that's going to affect us later on tonight. And of course, for tomorrow, most areas will get rain. To the north, more snow. We'll get into the numbers here momentarily, but that's what we've got to deal with. It's been a strange January so far. Let's check out some of the numbers. In Sudbury, Nickel Belt, rain tomorrow, 10 to 20 millimeters, a high of 6, and a few centimeters of snow for tomorrow night. Saturday, chance of snow -4, chance of snow on Sunday -8, flurries on Monday -2. The chance of flurries come Tuesday, also at -2. As we take a look at Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, by the way, risk of a thunderstorm throughout the northeast for tomorrow with that rain. 5 to 10 millimeters, a few centimeters of snow tomorrow night, +1 your high. Chance of snow Saturday, -2. Chance of snow on Sunday, -5. Chance of flurries Monday at 0. Also another 0-degree day for the high on Tuesday with the chance of flurries. Here we go, Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, like you need more snow. But first, the rain, risk of a thunderstorm, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, high of +1. And then you get a few centimeters of snow in the transition tomorrow evening. Saturday, cloud cover -9. Chance of snow on Sunday, 40%, -10 your high. Chance of flurries Monday, -3, and -6 come Tuesday with the chance of flurries. Let's have a peek now at Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Rain tomorrow, 10 to 20 millimeters, risk of a thunderstorm. 7 degrees, your expected high. -7 on the transition Saturday, some cloud cover. Chance of snow Sunday, -8. -3, chance of flurries Monday, and chance of flurries Tuesday, -3. Don't forget, we also have some rain in the forecast for this evening. We'll get to that coming up On the conditions overnight, North Bay, West Nipissing, rain tomorrow 10 to 20 millimeters, high of 7, -3 Saturday, cloud cover. Sunday, chance of snow -5, chance of flurries. Monday, -2 and -1 chance of flurries. Tony, it is not the best forecast that I could offer you for this evening throughout Northeastern Ontario. We've got to get through the rain beginning overnight into tomorrow before the transition with snow begins in some areas. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. The Timmins District Hospital emergency room is experiencing a higher number of patients with influenza A than it typically does. The ER's lead physician says many people are so sick they need to be admitted. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
How are you feeling right now?
Right, not the greatest.
Emergency physicians in Timmins are seeing more people presenting with respiratory viral infections. They say the increase began over the Christmas and New Year holidays.
Influenza A, I've never seen it in recent years. And the reason it's become challenging is a lot of patients coming in with influenza A are actually quite ill and they're being admitted to the hospital.
Harper says there are not enough beds to care for all these patients.
For example, when I left my shift last night, more than 50% of the beds in the emergency department were occupied by admitted patients. And what that means is we now can't bring in other patients from the waiting room to assess them as quickly as we typically can. And what happens with that is our wait times tend to go up.
And Harper says when people have to wait, they get frustrated.
We get too much yelling and patients picking up the phone and thinking that it's our fault. And I just don't think it's fair to, the nurses and the ward clerks and the physicians that are just working so hard.
If people are unsure if they should go to the emergency room with flu symptoms, the hospital's website under Emergency Department has a list of clinics, including virtual care options.
You should not have a fever for longer than 5 days. If you do, you should be seen by a healthcare practitioner. If you're having a difficult time breathing at home, if you're having chest pain, if you're vomiting or having so much diarrhea that you feel that you're dehydrated, that requires an assessment for sure. And we're always happy to see patients for that.
Another piece of advice from the ER is to remember that influenza A is not a bacterial infection and cannot be treated with antibiotics. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Lacing up for a major milestone, a Sudbury staple is back on the ice this month. The Miners for Cancer Alan Epps Memorial Hockey Tournament is gearing up to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Organized by nonprofit group Miners for Cancer, more than $1 million has been raised for Northern Ontario families of children with cancer through various tournaments. There will be 28 teams, live entertainment, and new this year, a children's mini sticks tournament.
Our group has put in a children's mini stick tournament. So that tournament will happen Saturday during the day. Ages 4 and 5 will be one division, and then 6 to 10 for the other division. And registration is available online.
Withers says registration for the mini sticks tournament is filling up fast. The tournament is January 22nd to the 25th at the Walden Arena. Help is needed. Coming up on CTV News at 5. The City of Greater Sudbury is looking for volunteers to help flood outdoor rinks. There are more than 50 outdoor rinks in the City of Greater Sudbury which rely on volunteers. Right now, the city says there are 11 locations that have only a few or none at all. So officials are calling on the public to get involved. More now from CTV's Lindsay Alick.
From Rosemarie, located on Gary Avenue in New Sudbury, to Central Lane Outdoor Rink, located behind the Garson Library. City officials say they are looking for volunteers age 14 and up to help out with these 11 locations across the city.
We rely heavily on volunteers to build and maintain the rink, and then we supplement that with staffing. So we hire part-time staff to help with opening the field houses, being available for bathrooms and cleaning. They assist with ice making, but that's not their main purpose.
Jim Neesing grew up in the neighborhood near Westmount Park and has been living in the area ever since. He says he got involved in volunteering at the outdoor rink over 2 decades ago.
When my kids got involved in hockey and ringette, we decided, we had time to give back to the community, all the ice time and everything we enjoyed here, so decided to get out here and do something good for the neighborhood.
Neesing says the park has a group of dedicated volunteers that are here every day, making sure the ice is ready for when the kids get off school. On average, he says this rink sees 20 to 30 people a day.
It's just great to come out here at nighttime, see the amount of kids that are out here, the smiles on their face, the great volunteers we have here in the community and all that, so it's really rewarding that way.
Whether you're a high school student looking to complete volunteer hours or retired and looking to stay active, officials say over 200 volunteers make rinks like this possible, but they need more.
It's really good to get out. You're getting some exercise, getting to meet other people in the community, and just making friends out there. And we need the volunteers. I mean, that's what keeps it going.
In total, there are 56 outdoor rink locations across the city. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
We had a battle of the north last night between the Sudbury Wolves and Sioux Greyhounds, and it was a big night for one new Wolf, Adam Nemec. Nemec, with his first OHL goal at GFL Memorial Gardens, it wouldn't be enough to catch up to the Sioux, who by that point had a pretty big lead. The Hounds take this one 6-2. Tonight, the North Bay Battalion are in action. They'll play host to the Ottawa 67s, who currently sit atop the OHL standings, just 1 point ahead of the Flint Firebirds. Puck drop is 7 p.m. The Sudbury Cubs will look to strengthen their lead in the NOJHL standings tonight as they play the Powassan Voodoos. Game time is 7:10 at Countryside Arena. One of the things that makes us Northerners is how we look out for one another. Communities are no different. Earlier this week, the town of Espanola announced it had to close the arena after its Zamboni broke down. These pictures posted by Espanola on its Facebook page. Town officials announcing they are back on the ice thanks to the generosity of their neighbors in Blind River. Blind River had a spare resurfacer and lent it out to Espanola, allowing the community to maintain its skating schedule. Do you like doing laundry? When we return, now there are robots that can fold your clothes. We talk all things tech in a few minutes. You're watching First at 5. The world's largest consumer electronics show is underway in Las Vegas. That's where we find companies showing off their latest gadgets. And to talk more about that, let's bring in Ritesh Kotak, cybersecurity and tech analyst, and we've reached him in Toronto. Hi there, Ritesh.
Hello.
What will we soon see on the market?
So the Consumer Electronics Show is where everyone shows off their latest gadgets, and there's been a lot of gadgets that have been shown, and there seems to be this theme around AI and robots, but there have been other components of technology. There is this 3D slim television, so televisions that look like you could step into them, and just a new way of visualizing content. But there's also smart Legos that are being introduced as well. So as you're taking these Lego pieces and putting them together, they start talking to you. There's lights that emit, just really interesting ways of leveraging technology. But just getting back to that AI and robotic piece, that is the underlining theme, and there was no surprise of the type of technology that we're seeing. In fact, there's an AI-powered robot that actually does your laundry for you as well. So it's got some very interesting consumer-grade applications, and I guarantee there's going to be so much more coming out of this year's CES.
Sounds like a time saver right there. Elon Musk's AI chatbot is facing global backlash. Tell us more about that.
So Grok, which is their large language model, similar to how OpenAI has ChatGPT, has been incorporated into X, so the platform formerly known as Twitter, for some time now. But lately, the technology has been, allowed users to do certain interesting things. For example, if there's a particular picture or post, you can write a prompt and you can say, make this post into change the background of this post or change the clothing of this post. And essentially what's happened is people have weaponized and misused it by taking pictures mainly of females and children and creating some inappropriate images. Now, this has set alarm bells off around the world, and governments and lawmakers saying, you got to do more about this. X has responded saying, if you're going to misuse the technology, we'll kick you off the platform. But it's too little, too late. And the only way to really know if an image has been AI generated is to look in the text of the post and see if Grok was used. Other than that, you see an image, it's hard to decipher fact from fiction.
How true. Let's move on. How are Canadian agencies embracing AI tools to defend national security?
Yeah, and it's actually an ongoing review that's going on. So we know that our spy agencies, our federal agencies, our police agencies are using artificial intelligence for numerous reasons. And there is an ongoing review by the federal government to see, okay, what type of technology are you using, what governance processes are in place, and what type of usage in general is happening. So here's what we do know. We do know that there is use when it comes to generating documents, editing documents, but what about leveraging it in different ways? When we think about AI, it could be using it for facial recognition, using it for data analytics, and doing automation of certain processes like going through passports and taking different data sets and combining it. So this is a big question. Is it safe? Is it secure? Clearly, this technology is going to be used, but using it in a safe, responsible way is an ongoing review, and we're going to see more of our federal agencies using this type of technology.
Ritesh, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ritesh Kotak joined us today. And to see more of our Tech Talk segments, don't forget, head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Our first community close-up comes to us from Mattawa. On Saturday, the community arena is the site for a public skate with members of the North Bay Battalion of the OHL. The event runs from 3:30 p.m. until 5 o'clock. Come out and meet the team. We're going to head south of Sudbury now along Highway 69 to the community of Britt. Gorley Roy says there are some unhappy snowmen because of the warm-up. Great to hear from you, Gorley. Thanks for the pictures. Now to Sudbury, and this picture was emailed to us by Sue Wolfram. She snapped this photograph of her dog Toto enjoying the milder weather. Thanks so much for the photograph, Sue. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.